Those who believed that there was a special bond between Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson can smile proudly today. Because last night, in an emotional moment, the whole world stood still when they appeared together at a private birthday party that no paparazzi could handle. Party popper, it's not a rumor anymore. They really sat next to each other. Inside sources said that the party was held privately, not too loud, but the atmosphere was warm and intimate. And what made everyone stop their hearts was that Dakota Johnson appeared with a gift wrapped very carefully, as if it had a special meaning that only the two of them understood. Jamie Dornan, when he saw Dakota, his face completely changed. The smile, the eyes, the comfort, all exactly like the behind-the-scenes moments that made fans scream many years ago. Revolving hearts, the clinking glasses moment made the whole room silent. No need for too many words. They just raised their glasses, looked at each other, and smiled lightly. And at that moment, everyone present understood. It never really ended between them. That connection was not a noisy love, but a deep, mature emotion, only found in people who have gone through a lot together. Shushing face, what was the mysterious gift from Dakota? No one dared to ask. But witnesses said that Jamie looked at the gift as if it reminded him of an old memory that he kept deep in his heart. Some fans even guessed. A souvenir from the 50 Shades era. A photo that only the two of them knew the setting. Or an old promise that was revived. All we know is that Jamie smiled for a long time after receiving it. Crescent moon, the night ended gently, but the fans' hearts did not. They did not need to announce it. They did not need to hold hands in front of the camera. Just one appearance like that was enough to confirm. We were not wrong. The bond between them never disappeared. The party ended late. The soft yellow lights in the backyard were still burning, illuminating the empty chairs and half-finished glasses. People had left. They were alone. Dakota stood near the door, still holding her thin coat. Jamie followed, walking slowly and hesitantly, as if he didn't want the night to end. The wind blew gently, carrying a familiar scent he remembered. Dakota turned back, his eyes soft but hard to name. "Thank you for coming," Jamie said, his voice low, more genuine than anything he had ever said in public. Dakota smiled, the same smile as the year before, when they filmed their first scene together, understanding, but not showing off. "It's your birthday, I couldn't not come. No matter what," she added softly. The words hit a spot Jamie had tried to hide. Dizzy old eyes, never lost feelings. They stood face to face. No one was in a hurry to leave. No one tried to break the silence. It had been a long time since they had looked at each other for so long, not a few short seconds on stage, not the acting eyes in a movie. But the eyes of two people who knew each other's hearts well. Jamie sighed softly. "I thought we had gone too far to go back." Dakota tilted her head, replied softly, not blaming, not sad. "Not going back. It's just, we've always been here, no matter how many years have passed." At that moment, all explanations, all speculations, all fan arguments, became meaningless. Between them was not a noisy love. It was a bond that no one could break. Car scene of Jamie taking Dakota to the car. Jamie opened the car door for her. Not in a hurry. No goodbyes right away. Dakota got into the car, then suddenly called out to him. "Jamie." He bent down, looking at her through the rolled-down window. "That gift, only open it when I really miss you." Jamie was a little taken aback. "If I open it, it means I'm ready to say something I've never said before." Dakota looked straight at him, not avoiding. "Do you understand?" Jamie didn't respond with words. He nodded slowly, a nod so heavy and real that you could hear his heartbeat. The car rolled away, leaving Jamie standing alone in the middle of the night. In his hand was a secret gift. In his eyes was a look that was still imprinted. In his heart was an unfinished story. It was very late at night. The house was quiet, except for the ticking of the clock, slow, heavy, as if in sync with Jamie's heartbeat. He sat alone at the table. The small box Dakota had given him was still there. No one looked, no one urged. But his hands were shaking slightly. Jamie took a deep breath. Then he opened the box. Rose inside was not jewelry, not a luxury item, but a key. Small, old, and strangely familiar. Along with it was a folded piece of paper. Jamie opened it. Dakota's soft handwriting, still as gentle as her voice. If one day you want to remember how brave we were, let's go to the place where we laughed last without acting. D. Jamie put the paper down. His shoulders shook slightly. This key. It belonged to the small room behind the 50 Shades studio where they used to hide between heavy takes, where they used to laugh speechless over the most meaningless things in the world. It wasn't a place of fame, or glamour, or scandal. It was their place. Where no one could touch them. Sparkles the moment the memory returned like a slow-motion film. Jamie closed his eyes. He saw Dakota sitting on the floor, her hair loose, a cup of hot coffee in her hand. He saw her smile, the smile that made everything seem simple, easy, real. And he laughed through his tears. Not because it hurt, but because he understood. She never left. He just didn't have the courage to look back. Heartbreak, and then, the words he had never said escaped his lips. I still miss you. Never. No one heard. No one responded. But tonight, he said it to himself. The next morning. The sky was gray, a light raindrop falling on the glass. Jamie drove in silence. No music, no one beside him. Only the key in his hand, shining with an old silver color, like a call to return. The road leading to the old studio was no longer used much, so quiet that only the steady sound of the engine could be heard. Jamie didn't know what to say when he got there. He just knew he had to. Because if he didn't, the things of last night would just be emotions slipping through his hands. The old door creaked. He stood in front of the room. His hand shook slightly as he inserted the key into the lock. Click. The door opened slowly. And Jamie stood still. Revolving Hearts Dakota was there. She was sitting on the old wooden chair that had been in the room all those years ago. Her hair was loose, her eyes were looking out the window. No makeup, no lights, no cameras. Just Dakota, real, raw. She turned. No surprise. No surprise. As if she knew he would come. You're here, Dakota said, her voice very soft. Jamie stepped in, closing the door. The room suddenly felt smaller, not because of the space, but because of the overwhelming emotion. Because of your gift, he replied. Dakota smiled slightly, and for the first time in years, it was Jamie who sat closer to her. There were no more defenses between them. Crescent moon, the conversation was quiet. No one asked. What are we? Can we go back? What will others think? No need. Dakota placed her hand on Jamie's chest, right where his heart beat. I never wanted you to forget. It's just, the times weren't on our side. Jamie replied, his voice heavy but soft. And now? Dakota looked straight at him. Now, it's up to you. Not forcing. Not expecting. Not demanding. But empowering. Giving choice. And in that moment, Jamie understood. Not that they needed to go back to it all. Just no more running away. He took her hand. For the first time in years, not for the role, not for the crowd, not for the memory, but because he wanted to. In that old room, there were no spotlights, no cameras, no audience. Just the two of them, and the silence was slowly becoming so heavy it was hard to breathe. Jamie was still holding Dakota's hand. It was small, warm, but it carried a long past that they had tried to hide. Dakota looked at him, waiting for him to speak. Not pushing. Not demanding. Just opening the door for him. Jamie swallowed. Then he spoke, slowly, clearly, as if each word had been stuck in his chest for years. I've never loved anyone the way I love you. Dakota took a small breath. Not out of surprise, but out of pain and beauty at the same time. Jamie continued, his voice shaking but so real that the room seemed to stop breathing. I tried to bury it. Trying to forget. Trying to play the strong one. But every time I saw you somewhere, on the news, in movies, even in interviews, I always knew, you never left me. Dakota looked down for a second, her eyelashes were slightly wet. Jamie, she said softly, but her voice held all the things she couldn't say back then. Jamie squeezed her hand, gently, but with determination. If I choose you this time, will you stay? No one cried out loud at that moment. But their hearts broke, and then mended. Dakota looked up, her eyes no longer hesitant. If you come with your heart, I won't go anymore. No need for a hug. No need for an explosive kiss. No need for a long promise. Just a forehead against each other. Quiet. True. And so beautiful it hurts. Growing heart, and from that moment, their story begins again, not from the beginning, but from where they grew up.